it includes bad attorneys also.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, I make a motion that any questions to any township attorneys or any township official go through the clerk with the question, and the answers go to the clerk directly. That way everybody sees what question is asked and what answer is given.
Can we have the deputy do that?
Yes.
It's just they're calling the clerk's office.
Yeah.
Rephrase that it should be in writing.
Right, correct.
Goes to the clerk, the deputy clerk. So when we have to fax the lawyer on this, they get a copy of it, we keep a copy of it. When it's faxed back to us, we get a copy, emailed or whatever, we still have a copy of it. It goes into a file. So over time, questions can be asked again, it's on file. We categorize it so we don't completely repeat ourselves all the time.
I just like to see what question was asked as to what, we see the answers all the time, but we just don't see the question was asked.
That's
I'd
important.
like to see that. Yes.
So we have a record of it, so there's no misunderstanding of what the question was and what the answer was.
Just on clarification, so we're talking sending a copy to the clerk or sending the actual email to the clerk to
The
forward?
email or the letter or the fax goes to the clerk
Or deputy.
or deputy.
Just a copy goes to the clerk again?
No, it goes through the clerk. The clerk sends the question to the attorney. It's not done by an individual basis. It's done through the township clerk or assistant.
So, I might have missed it here. Was there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? So, kind of segued into town lawyer here. Is there anything else for that, Sherry?
That was what we were just
That's
talking
what
about.
Like I say, we kind of segued into it.
Well, I didn't know if I should ask the question now or until after we get into it.
Well, let's move on to new business.
So the attorney's aware of it. Right.
Cemetery garden. That'd be my area here. There's been talk for a while about putting a garden in over at the cemetery. We're not talking a big elaborate thing where it's fairly low key, maybe a couple hanging baskets and an above ground planter type thing. I'm having a hard time getting people on board to get a garden going. Right now is pretty much the prime time to get things planted. So what I'm basically looking for is some money to be able to get some of this in motion here, and maybe some volunteers if there's anybody in the community who wants to help out.
Have you talked to the garden club at all?
I talked with them a while back. They didn't know if they'd have the time to deal with it. They seem more than willing to help design a garden. For the maintenance and the caretaking of it, they might not have the time or
Such a
resources.
job out here.
Right.
Harold, Greg Kineski, I'd be more than happy to help with that.
Right.
But if we could figure out what you're going to want to put in there just for the fact of the deer. I mean, they've gotten just ferocious. I mean, they're eating stuff that they've never eaten before. And it's disheartening, and it's really a waste. It's a total waste, and I think the disappointment is worse yet, from experience. So I think that would mean you need to do a lot of talking about what you're going to put in this thing for it to last.
You see the deer right up against this building at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And they eat geraniums off your deck. You know what I mean? And they don't eat geraniums normally.
Yeah, I was always told they're afraid of marigolds. They walk right over them. So.
So,
They don't eat them
You might
though.
do one.
Right, they won't eat them, but they'll walk right over.
So we're planting marigolds,
Like
lots and lots of
rose
marigolds.
bushes or something, you know?
Yeah, it's,
Midnight
the,
rose petals.
the plants involved are
Yes.
kind of a thing. It's, I just see it, we need to have something set in motion saying we are going to put a garden in. Or-
Where would you put it?
That's another one. So I see two different possible locations to have one. One of them's about where the driveway lies. There's an area there where I think it could use some dressing up. And, on the, what would that be? On the far side of that lilac that's in there is another possible site. There's not quite as much sun there though, so there'd have to be some pretty shady, hardy plants. Both areas were kind of a consideration for a garden. There was talk about putting a couple hanging baskets off the gate, on the posts of the gate.
Plastic.
Just cheap hanging baskets with a cheap
No,
holder
I meant
on.
plastic flowers. Yeah. If they're good enough for the graves, maybe.
Could
you
do
know,
that.
Still them.
Yeah. See the dust off of there once in a while.
Well, the deer scatter the dead ones as bad as the live ones.
I think, you know, if you're thinking garden, that's very nice of you to think garden. But if you want to really kind of do something just to make the cemetery look a little bit better, I would suggest like a little bit better grass seed, maybe some black dirt, so it doesn't have that field look and it actually has more of a cemetery look to it. That's a possibility.
Suggested that last year, that this spring we go out there with a weed and feed and a nitrogen supplement to get that grass turned green, as we start building it up. I think that is actually more important than a flower garden for improving the looks of that, and I think it's gonna have a better lasting effect.
Yeah, it's, the whole idea behind the garden is, we're kind of on a limited budget with the cemetery. So we don't have a whole lot of money we can spend on it annually. We are allowed to spend up to $10,000 annually on the cemetery, just out of the taxpayers' money. Other than that, it's all out of the cemetery fund. And there's less than 10,000 in that.
I think that just going and improving the lawn, like they said, neutralizing it, making it look like a lawn would be the best thing to do.
My lawn is comparable, if not larger than the cemetery. And I fertilized and did a weed and feed process on that last spring for around $280.
How's it look?
It looked good all last year.
Dry this year.
It needs it again this year to get the dandelions done, so.
Trying to put some trees in and it's just powder.
Yeah.
Really dry.
I think we should, yeah, focus on the lawn first.
Yeah.
And the garden is a good idea. I'll for it.
Yeah, Gordon.
Well, Mark's thought there, maybe if you use a really super grass seed or something and maybe grew paths in, so you have a place to walk and nice and comfortable. The cemetery's in 3 sections, so maybe you could make something with your good path that you make almost like a green sweeper where you go up, they walk up and then go across. You start with that, maybe they ground pines or something to create aisleways as you walk up, and then you can work in the garden as you feel, and that solves the problem with the grass, and then you can go from there.
Here's some ideas, you know,
Yeah.
we're just gonna take mannequins and bury the feet up.
Okay. Well, it's, non-parliamentary rules. Oh,
Noel Beverly, on Lake Road. Mr. Chairman, supervisors, fellow citizens. A quote from a monograph by Henry Petruski. Henry Martin Robert was born in 1837 in South Carolina. During his early years as an engineer, that's what he was an engineer, he had occasion to preside at a small but unruly church meeting. This meeting caused him to spend most of his adult